Okay, boys, we're back with another one. Today we have a kind of tough topic. We're going to be talking about paid content for MX Bikes. There's a lot to unpack here, so I figured I'd drop a pros and cons list, and that would help us sort us out. Before we jump into it, I'd like to ask for your help. At the time of recording this video, I'm like 70 subs off 1,000 subs. So if you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, smack the subscribe button like it owes you money. Okay, let's jump right back into it. It's no secret that these track creators put an extraordinary amount of time and effort into their tracks. At least the creators that are putting out quality content. Take the newly released Huron compound, for instance. I saw Huron say it took him around a year to make that compound. I think actually even a little more over a year, which is insane. Now listen, these guys don't do this full time because, well, there's no money in it. This means these guys are coming home from working their 9-to-5s and spending their free time grinding out tracks and gear so that we can use it. And for most of us, we probably just go and download that stuff and we don't even say thank you. Paid content would allow these creators to make a little side money, which I think would encourage them to make more tracks and gear at even higher quality. For a select few of those creators, I think it would even make them enough revenue that they could justify even cutting down their hours at their 9-to-5 or even replacing their 9-to-5, which would be insane. The bottom line is if Huron's track popped off, which I'm pretty sure it did, then I can guarantee he is as motivated as ever to create more and more content at even a higher quality to help bring him in some more revenue, as really any creator would be. To me, this is the biggest concern around paid content. If you look at any other game, whenever there's paid DLC content, specifically maps or tracks where you have to pay to be on them, the paid lobbies have significantly less players in them, while the majority of the players will remain on the free and or vanilla base game. For bikes specifically, I think this could be a pretty big issue, purely because the game has such a huge learning curve for most players. Will people really pay for content on the game they can hardly play? Believe it or not, I actually think the answer could be yes. MX Bikes is a really small game, as we all know, and the majority of the players, I think, come from either a friend, you hear about it from a friend, or you find a creator on YouTube or in some other social media and you watch them and they get you into the game. At least that's how I got into the game. That means if a newer player is playing the game with their more experienced friends who have all the new fancy tracks, they'll be more inclined to pick it up. The same goes for creators. I think most of us can say we've purchased an in-game item or wanted to try something in a game because a creator did it. I guess that's why they call us influencers, but is all that influence really enough to keep the average player purchasing content? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Competitive gaming has never been bigger, and what draws people into games is big money competitions. Look at any of the top streamers of any of the top games out there on the Purple app or on the Better app YouTube. The majority of them are competitive players. People like to play and watch competitive gaming. They just do. Okay, Reaper, but what does that have to do with bikes? My opinion is the more money being moved in and around a game, the better. Because sponsors, teams, media, and people are all drawn to money. Stone Rider created tracks for the Aerial series that cost money. He sells those tracks for like $1.50. There's about 200 to 400 entries per week, and there's about 12 weeks of racing. Doesn't take a genius to see that that's a lot of money being circulated. Even with taxes and I'm sure fees for the website taken out, it's still a good amount of money. Now, before I say the next part, I'd like to clarify I have zero idea how much any of these creators are making or how they use their money, and I don't really care. But I think the only way money being circulated in the game is a bad thing is if it actually isn't being circulated in the game. What I mean is if the creators aren't continuing to make content and put money back into the game, by purchasing something to help further their content, or if people hosting series aren't putting the majority or even just a good amount of that money back into the purse of the series, it's not going to help anything. If they continue to just pocket everything and they don't put it back into the game, it will not further the game. But if the series host can continue to grow the purse amounts for the Pro Series, it will do the game wonders. Purse money will make teams want to have the best riders on their team, which will create some competition amongst teams to the point people will be willing to hire riders. I also think it would drive viewership up on the Aerial streams or whoever's hosting the races, as well as the individual rider streams. People are way more inclined to watch races with real stakes on the line versus just bragging rights. Viewership increase leads to outside sponsors wanting to be involved so that they can get their brand in front of those new viewers. This could look like outside companies adding to that purse in exchange for their logo or on a track banner or something. Bottom line, in my opinion, money involved in the competitive scene is hands down the best thing possible. It's no secret that in-game monetization can completely kill a game. I'm looking at you, literally every EA game. There is certainly a balance that needs to be near perfect. I think how the MX Bike Shop's website is planning on balancing things is by only allowing select more premier creators on their site, which will only allow the top guys to be monetized. In theory, this would give the up and coming creators something to shoot for in hopes to land a spot on the website and make some money. This would mean that they would be providing increasingly better and better free content alongside the premier content, which is the pinnacle. But is it really that simple? I'm not really sure. Could there be a better way to handle it? I don't really know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, those are my initial thoughts on paid content in MX Bikes. I think it is a really good thing for the game if it's handled properly, but if handled poorly, it could easily split the community and ruin a lot of what makes the game so amazing. I'm gonna hope for and do whatever I personally can to make sure it's a good thing, because this game has more potential than any other MX game out there. It just needs some refining and tweaking. I have some really good ideas that I cannot wait to put into place here in the near future, and I think are gonna hopefully elevate things. Before I go, I'd like to say I'm so grateful for all of you, and if you guys need to talk or just need a friend, please hit me up on Twitter or Discord. Both those links will be down below in the description. I'd love to pray with you, talk with you. I know people are going through stuff, man, and so am I. But if you need to talk to someone, you don't have anyone to go to, let me know. I got you, and I love you, and peace.